Hey, good morning, my friends. I'm Live Chief Meteorologist Mark Torregrossa. Welcome to the MLive morning weather update. And we have a burst of snow moving through the southeast part of the state. Adam Coggins, one of my great weather spotters, checked in on the north end of Genesee County, Mount Morris, and he says he sent me a solid 3-inch total right now. So that's what's moving through southeast lower Michigan. And here you go. And so right now you could see the snow in through the southeast part of the state, the thumb, through Ann Arbor, through Flint, about ready to end in Flint, moving out of Lansing right now into Ann Arbor, Detroit area, and into the far southeast toward Monroe. And so we have to deal with a 2-3 hour burst, 1 to 3 inches of snow in that southeast. The rest of the state kind of is quieted down already. Here's a look at one of the webcams from the Michigan Department of Transportation, and you can see. Hold on, I lost you now. Give me just a second. All right, so here is I-94 just on the west side of Ann Arbor, and you can see it's kind of starting to stick on the roadways there. So, radar forecast through 1 o'clock. Still the Detroit area, probably getting out of Ann Arbor by 1 o'clock, and weakening as it goes. So you got a 2, 3, 4 hour burst of snowfall in the southeast. You will have it during a warmer time of day, so it may not stick as much as what hit, say, Genesee County at 5, 6, 7 in the morning before the sun came up. And as we go into the afternoon and evening, we got spurts of light rain showers, light snow showers all across the state. This is midnight, then the precipitation is done, and if you have to travel tomorrow, it looks great. If you have to, in fact, travel for the next 10 days, looks quite good. Here's total additional snowfall, and you can see it's confined to the southeast part of the state, from Sanilac County, St. Clair County, through Oakland County. Let's call it 1 to 3 inches, and let's call it 2 or 3 on the ground for the most part. But certainly in the heavy burst, you can get a slush accumulation on the roadways at any point. All right, now temperatures warming up. So where the snow is falling today, it might stay right around 32 degrees. Once it comes to an end, once the plow hits the road and there's some salt and the cars driving it around, should turn to wet. That's why I'm saying if you don't have to get out in the Detroit and Ann Arbor area and Muskegon this morning, if you wait to noon or 1 o'clock, you're probably in pretty good shape. The rest of the state, pretty good shape. Grand Rapids, you're heading to 37, maybe along the shoreline near 40. Now, and somebody actually reported that strange orange ball in the sky. So maybe a few of us see some rays of sunshine today. Tomorrow, upper 30s where it has snowed today, otherwise low 40s. Grand Rapids and Kalamazoo at 41. Detroit and Ann Arbor near 40. Traverse City near 40. Thursday looks warm for this time of the year. Remember, average high temperature right now is about 30 degrees in the south. And we could have 47 to 50 in many places. Grand Rapids, upper 40s. Kalamazoo, Lansing, Jackson, maybe near 50. Ann Arbor, Detroit, near 50. Traverse City, 41. Almost 40 all the way to the Mackinac Bridge. Friday, 40 in the south, mid to upper 30s in the north. Saturday, temperature spread 30s to maybe low 50s in the southwest. Sunday, let's call it 30s. And Monday looks like it could have a northeast wind, so it'll be a little bit cooler, but still bear in mind, these are temperatures that are still 5 to 8 degrees warmer than normal. And then they warm up ensues again. The second phase of it looks stronger. Temperatures in the low 40s on Tuesday, maybe near 50 in a lot of the southern half of the state on Wednesday. And again, this model can be funky at 10 days out, but this fits the pattern of what's going to happen. And I told you all along that I expect one day at least in the first 2 weeks of February to hit 50 degrees in a lot of the southern half of lower Michigan. And I think it will be at some point in the second half of next week, Wednesday, Thursday, or Friday. Here's the upper airflow. So here's our little disturbance coming through now. It drifts to the southeast. Everything wants to suck to the south right now because of the active El Nino jet stream, so to speak. So this is Friday of this week. Look at this big ridge, big warm ridge blowing up right over us. You'd see blue and purple on the map if the upper atmosphere was cold enough. You don't. Note the storms hitting the California coast gravitate to the Gulf Coast. If you're traveling that way, snowbirds, this is their tornado season, and remember, they have tornadoes at night in Alabama and Mississippi and Georgia and northern Florida. So you should, fortunately our phones now pick up on the tornado warnings with the same kind of amber alert tone. Hey, Josh Crofus has 2 inches in Holly. Okay, thank you very much. Slippery roads in Carroll. Now we're into next week. This is next Tuesday and Wednesday. Look at the storm dropping into California. No force from the cold air just to our north, so that blows the ridge up. And that's why this model says that we could head into the 50s late next week, depending on how everything plays out. Day-to-day weather, here's our system. Comes through. Then we're dry Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday. Great travel conditions for this time of the year. Go out 10 days and look what's happening. That's a southwesterly wind ahead of a storm system. So you're 40s, and then you get a southwest wind. That's what gets you to the 50s, especially with no snow on the ground by that point. So I showed you the high temperatures already. So, I guess the weather watch out today is this morning, right now, Ann Arbor, Detroit area, Monroe, southeast. You're getting into a burst of 2 to 3 hours of heavy snow. Looking at some reports here. The snow is heavy enough to stick on the roads even at 32, 33 degrees, but as soon as it stops, the temperature will warm a degree aloft, the road will warm a touch, and then a couple of hours later it should be just wet. So again, if you have a concern about traveling in this burst of snow, someone's going to drive 80 miles an hour and not expect it, and then, whoa, you're stuck for hours because of what somebody else did. Let's see, Matthew Bursley. Just rain and wet roads around the Grand Rapids area. No snow here. Yes, Grand Rapids, you're in the clear as far as on travel conditions. I always have to kind of go right down the middle of the road because remember in Michigan, 50% of us love winter and 50% of us hate winter. So wait a little bit to this afternoon if you want to do some traveling safely in the southeast. Otherwise, you're A-okay. And then you better get ready for an abnormal warm spell. And it's probably a 7 to 10 day to 2 week type warm spell with highs at least in the 30s and many of those days in the 40s and a couple of those days possibly in the 50s. All right, there's your weather update. Thanks for joining me on the MLive Morning Weather Update. I'm MLive Chief Meteorologist Mark Torregrossa. Stay safe. Have yourselves a great day. Bye.